Yes, I just wanted to say that when I do the new, I put my intention either on the essence of being, or the seventh level awareness, or shining like a thousand suns, or something like, or the all. And so when I do it, I don't know what experience I'm going to have. If I try to put my attention on a certain thing like universal position or the other things, I just knock out and fall asleep, and sometimes I even feel dizzy. So whenever an experience happens, it just happens like kind of like on its own. I don't say, "Oh, I don't want to be here" or whatever. It just happens. That's the way the experience happens. So saying that, this experience happened when I was sleeping. Sometimes they happen in full daylight where I become very centered and quiet. But this happened when I was sleeping and I woke up. When I woke up, I thought I was waking up from in the bed, but no, I woke up to this scenery. And in the scenery, there's these blue skies, clouds, rocky mountains, and the terrain or the area is volcanic rock as well as regular rock. And all of a sudden, this being appeared to me to the left, and it looked like it was encased in water. And it was a girl. She looked kind of young, and something said, "This is a teenage girl." And the teenage girl, because of the water that was surrounding her, I almost couldn't really see her totally, but I could tell she had short blonde hair. And she said, "Come on, we gotta go get your a piece of your true essence that is trapped in the lava rock." And I said, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, come on, let's go." I said, "Okay." So she was kind of like floating, walking, but I was walking normal. And for some reason, I couldn't turn to my right to look like, have a more visual where I'm at. I could only look to my left and forward. And so as we're walking about 300 feet away, I could see the lava rock as well as the regular rock where I'm trapped underneath and I'm shining this gold, yellow, beige sort of like color. And it's really lit up. And then I turn to my left and I look up and I notice that my true self is going along with us, but he's floating. And he's like 100 feet in the air and he has his eyes closed. So as we're walking along, maybe halfway there, I was wondering, like, how am I going to, take back that true essence that's trapped there? How am I going to do that? But I said, okay, I'll figure it out once I get there. And then I noticed that my true self eyes, it opened up, and then this blue light came on him, like I don't know where it came from, the sky or what, but it came on him like light blue, and then with the whitish on the sides. And I thought, okay, I don't know what this is, but halfway there, all of a sudden this giant being popped out of the ground, and it was made out of rock. And it said, "This is my domain. You have no authority to be here. These are my subjects." Now, he didn't say the word subjects, but he said something like the word subjects. And I didn't know there was others there. I only saw myself being trapped there. And the height was at the level where my true self was floating, and he was like just a regular man-sized person, like 6 feet. But he was at the 100 feet height of the being, like my true self knew that that was gonna happen. Then my true he was very like ready to attack us, but then my true self talked to it, and when my true self talked to it, his eyes lit up, and when his eyes lit up, he looked intently at my true self. Then he looked intently at me on the ground. Then he looked intently at where I was trapped, and he did something with his arms, and it released me from being there. And when we released me, it came into me, and I took a deep breath. And I also took a deep breath where I was sleeping in bed at home. And then after that experience, then my true self and I then connected, because it was like I couldn't I couldn't connect with him at first, but now I was able to connect with him, and we both got the idea that if he would release the other subjects that were there in that area, and we both said that if you release them, then we'll release you from that trap that you're in that rock body. And because I could feel sort of like a deep loneliness that he had. So he agreed to that, and all of a sudden, I didn't. All of a sudden, I see these balls of light and different color lights and hundreds of thousands just going into the sky. And I go, oh my goodness, how many are there? And then me and my true self, also, since we had this connection, then we released him. As we released him, he also left somewhere in the sky, just took off somewhere, and then his rock body just collapsed. And so that's how I got that part of my true essence back. And then later on, I woke up, and the reason I was able to remember that, it was because it was so crystal clear. They wanted me to remember this and see this. But anyways, later on during the week, I thought if I just sang the new, this would happen automatically, no matter where pieces of my soul essence are trapped in other worlds, other dimensions, other planets. Well, I didn't understand why I had to go this step by step sort of thing, and that's a lot of places to go to get back your true essence, your soul essence. But anyways, that was the experience.
That's cool, Ramone. The idea here is that, yeah, we go through these steps to actually face these things, to see what's really taking place, and this helps you become more aware. So I heard you mention the idea of universal positioning, and yes, it's the all position. And so again, you can't just walk in there, you might say, and it's all, you know all, or you see all. It's not about knowing, it's about seeing and being. And so you have to go in steps. And also, these are situations set up for you to show you how agreement works. Okay? And so that's the idea. It's not always that you may agree with these things, but now you're consciously facing them. That is the particular, and deciding from there. So again, yes, as we sing the new you, we're thinking that, just like when we were in the corporation and whatever, singing the hue or whatever, we're thinking that, oh, that'll just take care of everything. No, you have to decide. You can sing the new you, but it doesn't make your dinner, does it? But you can think that, oh, if I just sing the new you, I'll come home and my dinner will be made. No, it won't be. You have to do it. You have to confront it. You have to figure it out. And so this is the attitude to develop. So if we just consider that, okay, the new you and Rebazar and the guys will take care of it, well, that's passive, is what that is. We want to get into the position of, awareness that's active with what life is. So it's a constant moment by moment deciding. And this becomes very, very real. This is where you become more and more aware. So when the question is asked, and I go through it too because I have a personal self, that's from the personal self. Okay? That's from the personal self. So you're seeing supposedly your higher self, or whatever you want to call it, objectively. But then again, that's just a setup scene, isn't it? So eventually it all comes to be that you is here now awareness. All right. And not referring to creation, but awareness. And so when we talk about a life or ourselves or whatever, we're really referring to the personal self. But then as you go along, you eventually start to recognize that none of this is about us. It's about what life is. And there's the focus to decide about what life is, not just thinking with our personal self that, oh, I'm doing this or whatever, and this is how it is. It'll just come out to be. No, it's a decision made. The is, like the sun shining, is deciding every single moment to do what it does and to learn to recognize what it does. That's huge. And so, again, most people will refer to their personal self and not see the difference. And so, again, when we're in the corporation, I see it too. That was mainly about the personal self. And we had these other ideas that we played with, the higher and lower worlds and all these things. And it was all cute. But now it's about awareness and focusing on that. And that becomes the endlessness that life is. And it's more so than the freedom or freeness idea. It's actually what life is. And so we have to decide, okay, to actually step up and be real with all life. And, it's kind of funny in a way, but the personal self is thinking that, well, there's me and, I'm the individual, and then there's all life and, I like life and all these things. Well, again, that's in the personal realm. That's not how life is. So whatever we consider life to be, that's not it. We have to learn to see what it is. So we will see a lot of scenery and things like that, but that's not it either, because it's invisible awareness and the decision. Each person decides their position, and overall the decision is to decide to stand real with the isness and see and be as it is. And this is where the personal self, you might say, completely disappears while you're still operating it. It's a very interesting position. Yeah. So again, step by step, you're led up to it. You're given these objective views, which are very, very good. Your experiences are very, very good. But at the same time, you have to recognize how this is, and not just thinking that the new you is gonna take care of it, because it's a particular. But then as we compare it to the awareness all life is, there's a big difference, because it's an endlessness you cannot consider. So there's something to think about, huh? That's cool. Should write that down like I suggest and share that and share your insights into it. There's a lot more to it. There always is. And as you write it down sincerely and learn to see it, it will come forward. And there won't be any more questions. You will learn to see what's going on. That's the best part. Thank you for sharing.